Welcome back to the shop. I'm Jeff from Today's Craftsman. We've had a lot of folks ask us, how do we scribe all of our fillers and end panels on an installation? And our answer is a power planer. So this week we're going to show you how to first get your line onto your piece and how to scribe it using a power planer. So we have this piece of plywood here. We're going to pretend that this is, say, a side panel for an upper cabinet. And we're going to scribe our line here using the wall of our office, which is beautiful to say the least. So you can see here, pretend that this is up in the air, but you see we have a nice gap here, probably about 5/16 of an inch. We have a gap there about 3/16 of an inch. So we'll get set up, we'll get this piece with some tape on it, and I'll show you how we scribe it. When we scribe, we use tape and a marking knife. So we're going to be cutting the tape with the marking knife. You could also use a scribe like this. This is the way that we used to scribe, or a compass. This is a product from FastCap. Either way, we like to apply tape so that we can see our line. So we've got our tape on there. And you would need to figure out how much you need to remove from the piece. In this situation, we're just gonna, use a hypothetical number, and that'll be 3/8 of an inch. So I have these mag shims, which are also from FastCap. These are just little magnetic shims. So I have 3 of them, and I attach my marking knife to it. So now from here to there, I have 3/8. All set with our tape on our piece. We have our marking knife set up. So we're gonna hold our piece up to the wall where we want it. You may need to stick a shim, if this is a base filler, to hold it. And we're gonna take the marking knife and mag shims, place it against the wall. I'm going to scribe that line. I usually go over it twice. So now the next step is we can actually just peel away the tape. And that's what we need to remove. So we need to remove all the way up to the tape. We're here with our piece. We're simulating a work environment on a job site. So we would take our piece here and clamp it down. I like to clamp both sides just so that it's nice and secure. We have our power planer. This is a cordless model from Makita. It's definitely a little heavy, but we like the fact that it's cordless. And I have it hooked up to a vacuum. This is, again, a Makita vacuum, which either runs on 120 volt power, or you can use 2 batteries, it's really nice on site. So we're removing quite a bit of material here. So this is the adjustment for the depth of cut. It basically just moves this little fence. So I'm going to put this at 1/16. And so if I'm square to the edge like this, we're going to be removing 1/16 of material. But if I tip the planer over like this, I'm going to be removing less. You'll see as I go, I'm going to be moving this back and forth to change my depth of cut. So actually for the first cut here, let's go ahead and take off a little bit more. We can just take off a couple straight passes, and we're going to put a back bevel on this. So we're going to have the long point on the face and back bevel. That way, this is the only point of contact up against the wall. We don't have to worry about this. You're never going to see it. So if we have, a bevel here, it's going to help us get tight to the wall. So we'll turn on our vacuum, take a couple passes. So you can see that back bevel it makes it so that the only point of contact is there on the face of the material. So if we had a square edge, there may be another little hump in the wall back here that's going to keep us from going tight. So we want to get this back bevel on there. So we took 2 passes, an equal amount, and you can see we only have about 3/32 of an inch here. Here we're closer to 5/16, 3/8. So now we're going to incorporate this sort of rolling action with the power planer. So I'm going to back this off now to say 1/16 like we were doing before. And we'll start creeping up on this line. I'm going to back off a little bit now because I'm getting really close to my line in some spots. So now this is pretty deep, so I need to increase my depth of cut to get into here. Whoops. Now what I would typically do is take a piece of sandpaper, I had a piece of 120 right here, and just break this edge. We have a very sharp edge here, so it's fragile. You can see we're right up to that tape line. You can also notice how the back bevel changes, due to how we're tilting the planer. Scribe looks pretty good. Now we can remove our tape and see how it fits. All right, fingers crossed. That's pretty good for a first fit. A lot of times you go back for a second if you want to close those up a little bit more. We're dealing with 2 different pieces here, so there's a bit of a hump. But now we could take an even finer mag shim and get it a little bit closer if we wanted. In most cases, you know, we're caulking stuff in to finish it, and to me, this is plenty close enough. Your opinion may differ. But yeah, you can use this, you know, in a multitude of ways. Baseboard to the floor, fillers to the wall, panels to the wall, crown to the ceiling, really any piece of molding or trim that's going, you know, up to something else, you can scribe just like this. So, you know, you can see how wonky that is. And the same technique can be used for scribing to brick and stone. You have to use a compass for that. You can't use the mag shims, but you can get into all of these little details using a compass. And in that instance, you'll have to use some tools aside from the power planer, but in principle, the same thing. So we want to know how you scribe your panels, and if you've tried this before. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and we'll see you next week.